So,
One, two, three.
Maybe there were 1 or 2 milliseconds
Seconds.
unsyncing or non-sync, but it was well done. Yeah.
So what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about?
That had to be. That had to be at some point. Okay. So, welcome, Boris, and welcome, Shaun.
Hello.
Shaun is our second guest on the.
Yeah, we already had one.
We already had one
a few minutes ago.
Exactly. We didn't take the picture before the show. Anyway, that's
we will take the picture after show.
Well,
you were going
the little
to be exhausted
that we are getting
sweating.
And it looks like no one cares and no one mentions and notices it. But I am actually Thomas, so no one introduced me. I'm introducing myself. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So Shaun is here with us because our guest episodes are great success. The last one was very good. Thank you, Lisa. I think it was very largely to your distributing efforts and your many friends who love you and want to listen to what you say. So we will see if people love Shaun as well. As I said, we'll see.
That's under the big question mark. So no pressure.
But Shaun, just if you could introduce yourself for those who don't know you.
Tell you about me. Okay. Well, I am.
Thank you very much. So basically,
and to the other news.
It's not that interesting.
But let's carry on.
So I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, and then moved to Durban, and now I'm in Estonia.
Condemned.
He loves it.
I am a music composer and sound designer and drummer, and that's about all I can do actually.
Can you cook?
I can cook.
That's
probably the only other thing. And arrange flowers. I think that's the
arrange flowers.
And
you are extremely good with coffee.
I am.
He's good with plungers.
Yeah.
Good at arranging cushions as well on couches.
My God, you have so many talents. Such a talented guy.
But hang on a second. So, like, you by arranging flowers, I mean, I know what that means, but like, was it a joke, or you actually lesson to arrange flowers? And it's. I
just like homely things as well. It was kind of like the one of the things I wanted to do as well. If the music thing didn't work out, it was more design and interior design, those types of things. I like interiors and.
So your place is actually nice at home as well.
I hope so.
Did you in Estonia? I think it's more common. No, actually. So you rent something empty and then you furnish it.
Yeah.
So you did all that and.
Yeah.
What style is it? I like the
the easiest style, IKEA.
No, yeah, of course.
IKEA
for the win.
No, because I do like this this minimalist Swedish style, and I'm not I don't know if I have taste or anything, but I kind of went for like simple flat surfaces, not too many pictures, not not big fancy wooden frames for pictures, but like, so it looks nice. But so that's the kind of thing that you have as well.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing my wife and I like. We sort of the more uncluttered and minimal, the better. I think we kind of go with exactly what you need. You don't need to have. I agree. You don't put a picture on the wall if you don't need the picture on the wall, or have a million things in a room. Rather have the space. So that was just something that I like. It's something different to music and cooking
and do you but actually do you always have like fresh flowers at home and things like fresh cut flowers?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes when I have guests over, like you invite people for dinner, I also like to buy like a few pieces of Gerbera or whatever. But I would like to do it like every week, or like, because they kind of die in 2-3 days or 4 days or whatever. So you need to. Like, it's not the cheapest actually if you want to buy like always keep it up to date and have it fresh. It's not.
No, you can't have them every few days either. You won't have food at the end of them.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So in your backyard, you have a big pile of all those dead flowers.
Yeah, like a graveyard.
Which you can. It's a. What's it the name? Compost.
Compost is the for you if you use it later.
So you can use it afterwards to nourish the.
Well, you could also have bowls of potpourri around the house as well, or pressed flowers in all your books. As you in your library. I mean, I'm sure you all have a.
But I think he is using it for compost, because I know that is also where he soils. Do you?
No,
Do you? No, I'm not. This is
that's
not.
definitely fun. And in the other news,
This is
How to
not a-
welcome a guest onto the show, right?
No, what I wanted to ask is this a house or is it just a flat? Or, so do you have a garden actually? Do you have something
Yeah.
outside?
We live in an apartment, but it has a big garden. So it's two.
A shared garden. So
It's
can
two
you put
houses. They call them houses.
houses,
Yeah,
or
right?
that's-
two houses, and then there's a big shared garden
Okay.
and like a kid's little playground. And that.
Oh,
do you have a gardener?
No. This is not.
South
This is not
Africa.
South Africa.
There are people have gardeners. They have,
have
a
gardeners, we
home
have-
like a
yeah.
helpers who come and I also used to have one very nice lady. She came once a week.
Of course,
And
the lady.
yeah, so they,
Not all
they
this chicky
came
pow
once a
wow,
week.
chicky pow wow.
It's like my parents. My parents have had the lady. She's part of our family. I think she's been with them about 40 years.
It often happens.
I mean,
like, they live there in a cottage houses.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things. Once you find that, then they become part of the family. Same with the gardeners, and
Marry, have kids,
yeah. They
grow
feed
old
it.
together,
Yeah.
collect the big pile of compost,
Uh,
reuse it
Yeah.
in the future endeavors.
so yeah.
Tell me, you probably heard that the name of our podcast is what makes me. It makes me smile. So, what made you smile this week?
This week, knowing that I'd be on this, which was quite fun because I don't generally do things like this. You know, it's life's quite boring actually. It's like-
I live in pain and misery.
I live in pain and misery, and I go from. Somebody asked me how's life, and you go, well, I go from A to B back to A again, and then it's like rinse and repeat.
Oh, nice.
So to do something different like this kind of made me
This is
smile.
not C.
This is C. It's the detour on the way home. You know,
Interesting.
so that made me smile.
Have you told it to your wife that you're going to be on the podcast?
Yeah, she was like, wow.
She was
That's
serious.
how she was said. Jeez.
She was like,
Wow, I'm living with a celebrity.
with a celebrity. That made me smile.
So she allowed you to use your real name and all that, right? They come on the show.
Yeah. She just said, don't mention her name.
Oh,
Or affiliate myself with
fair
her.
enough. Yeah. Or that you are
Exactly.
married, but now that's
So
too late.
that was mine. And I don't know. Music makes me smile when I listen to things and my own stuff.
What sort of music you're listening to? I mean, you as a composer.
Everything. So I listened to your your previous podcast actually just to do my homework, and I listened to
least somebody
albums
said
and
listen.
singles, and you were talking about how you don't listen to much new music, and I find myself only going back now to the nostalgic.
To
Really?
what you have
What
already
I've already
listened.
listened to from
Okay.
when I was, when I could remember that I was actively listening and starting to study what I was hearing, when it wasn't just something on in the background. So I find myself going through these phases, and there's no specific, what I'm going to listen to on a day. Also, there's two very different listening patterns. There's my own enjoyment, which is whatever that is, and it can change from jazz to classical to whatever on a daily basis. I mean, if you look through my recently played, there's no pattern. I don't think the algorithm can figure me out
Throws
yet.
it off. Like,
And then
develop a new version.
Just
Yes, yeah.
goes crazy.
And then my
What
daughter-
the hell he wants in his life?
and then my daughter will listen to something, and then it's completely because it shows up in my library, and then suddenly
That I own my own, so my Spotify is my Spotify. But I'm thinking like sometimes when I give a lift to someone in the car or whatever, I don't want them to like put on music and because this is my algorithm. Yeah, I trained it well. I'm very happy with my Discovery Weeklies on Spotify. I really half of the songs that it suggest I like it, and then and I don't want someone to come in with something that I don't like, and then it's. On the other hand, maybe it's good to like throw in something, so it's not just the same or whatever. But
my on Apple they've got the replay. Each year it's called replay. It's not called Wrapped.
Oh, they also
so they've got that now, and so 2023 was the most listened song was the theme song from Bluey, which is an Australian cartoon.
Yeah,
And the track was called "Here Come the Grannies." That was
Oh, interestingly to me, that was the title of the most watched Pornhub title.
So that was my.
Oh, okay. Let's continue the interview. Let's just make
Pretend this didn't happen.
So that was my most,
I-
and then after that was like, something esoteric from like, the Norwegian woods or something like that. But you have this like very strange replay.
So you're pining for the woods.
Pining for the fjords.
Who's for the fjords?
What is that? Is that I don't know.
Pining
Good
for the
reference.
fjords. I mean,
Fjords. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Dead Parrot sketch by Monty Python.
Oh shit! Okay, now I feel ashamed because I do love Monty Python.
No, we
Okay.
feel-
What the hell is that?
No, we feel old. And then, so there's that. Then there's work music, and obviously I've got to write in whatever style that is thrown at me, and that requires me to, be able to listen and write in whatever comes.
So someone tells you a style and you start writing in the style, or like, oh, actually, I need to listen some of
yeah,
these, so it's kind
yeah.
of my mind.
So sometimes
tunes
it's
in.
easy, and sometimes it's not easy.
Sometimes it's hard
Yeah.
when it.
Like a Day of the Dead, the theme song.
Yeah. So say like whatever we've done, like that might require like a week of research. And
But when you have this theme song that you have to write, and you listen to some sources of Samish music, do you often find yourself that, this part I like, I'm going to steal some?
we don't use the word steal. No. So what we do.
Recreative
No,
license.
I mean,
So, no, what we do-
it's going to be my inspiration.
Yeah. So it's more you have to be inspiration. So you want to create the nostalgic from something. So say you referencing, a piece of music that you liked from a movie or whatever. You obviously can't get too close to it. You have to find what the essence of it is, and then kind of turn it off and forget about it, and then take what you can from it, but not obviously not directly.
There are two things that I thought of, and I hope I will remember both by the time I finish with the one. So I know sometimes we did, and maybe it was like an older practice in our business when, you can't just flat out like steal something. So what we often did is like, at least that was my perception, is like, let's say you want to have something that it should be like James Bond, but it won't be James Bond. But what you take all the melody and you change one note or two, so it's still not false. It's not making it false, but you can also say it's not the same, and it's kind of almost that is the difference between the original and that, and same as the graphical team as well. It's like
So say if you had take James Bond as an example. So you would listen to what the defining parts of the music are. So you have that, it starts with that very, recognizable bass line, and then it's got the drums, and then it's got the brass, and it's got the. So you'd kind of work around that, because that would be the brief, that would be what people are expecting. But then obviously you can't quote any of it, you can't use any of it, but you can write in that style. It's difficult. You have to constantly check, because there's so much music out in the world, and so there's
so
so
that
much.
you don't accidentally.
Yeah, so you don't accidentally. So you have to constantly, and you have to, constantly check that you're not, So you see, we get each other to listen to each other's music and make sure, and just to see.
So to kind of verify.
But it's So and if you have the language of the piece that you're writing, then you can write something that's original. But you're just using the essence of it, so you're writing in that. So it makes you feel like you're in a James Bond, but you're not listening to James Bond.
There is there's a website that when I stumbled upon it was maybe 10 years ago, and I don't know how they did it back then. Nowadays with AI and all this kind of voice recognition, I'm sure it's much easier. But it's called whosampled.com. I don't know if you've heard about that. So it's, especially the music that I listen to, which is like largely hip hop, there's a lot of sampling going on there. And this what this who sampled does is like you type in you find something on YouTube, and then they will link all the other YouTube videos, if they can find it, that they say this is where this sample is coming from on this other YouTube video, starting at the sample starts at 0 minutes 48 seconds, and it's like this massive library of all the references of all the samples that have ever been used. Oh well, I always found everything, but but you said you have to kind of check if something sounds like something else. This is such an interesting database, and the whole website that again whosample.com. It's amazing. It's and it often happens. Well, sometimes it happens when I listen to some music and then I think, okay, that it was kind of original then, and then it turns out it is from a 50s 60s funk whatever thing, and I thought it's like the most modern groove, and it is coming from this like it's so amazing findings. But what I wanted to, the other thing I wanted to say is when you said it's hard to start and you have to kind of take inspiration. I was listening to a podcast about somehow it was somewhat about classical music as well, and they said that I think it was Haydn who I think he's being sometimes blamed with like he's stealing from others. They did, but him particularly, I think he's an autobiographer or whatever. So, and it was a expression I really liked is he's someone who doesn't have a starter motor, so he needs someone who had to have started something, and then he can build up on that. And why it resonated with me is like I don't make music, I don't have these skills, or at least never pursued, but I like to in my head. And I find it very much. I can't come up with like a good tune or whatever, but if I hear something, I can kind of almost like ad-lib to it, like with notes and drums that in my head they sound good. So that's also I need something that someone started and I can come along. So that's why. I really would like to get back to drumming, and I never jammed with anyone, but I really would like to get to a point where I can more or less play what is in my head, and then get together with someone, and they just throw up something, and then what is my response, and then I just have a feeling I think I would be good at it. I don't know, but yeah. So I might not be able to start something from the beginning, but I totally understand that if something gives the initial push, and then there's something you can like build upon it, like very powerful in a very powerful way.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have something that inspires you. So if it's a a picture or a whatever that you're working towards or working from, that's going to inspire you. That might even make you remember that that maybe that picture sounds like something I heard, and then that could be your starting point. There's always got to be a starting point. What's your? Do you write all together in your band, or do you?
It's
specifically like one person brings a song, or
no? One person brings the song. This has never happened.
Yeah.
So it's either there is a riff or some part like this would be okay for the verse. This will be okay for the refrain, but it can just turn around like drastically. Or somebody says, this part is amazing for the bridge, let's use it. And then it just not fitting anywhere. And the new song comes out from that. But so I would say, no, it's quite rare. I've listened to a lot of big musicians, and actually the big hits, they're coming from nowhere. So there were no no such things like, I have came up with this music score, lyrics, and now we're going. That it's not like that. But have you been playing in some sort of band in your life, or?
Yeah. So when I was back in Cape Town and studying, when I was very young and more attractive. So we started in our first year at the University of Cape Town. I was studying at the jazz school, and I was there with a friend of mine who that I'd been to a high school extramural music school as well. So we went to study together, and we met some people, and we started a band, and that band did pretty well. It was jazz, and we did more of the function scene, the wedding and the conference sort of scene. That was quite nice because
What sort of instruments you have been using in the band?
So we had
because jazz.
It was a jazz quartet. So it was classic sort of saxophone, piano, double bass, and drums, and then we'd use a singer from time to time if they wanted that, or So we met in college and we started gigging straight away. So we were studying and we started playing like almost every night.
But did you? So was it like full improvisative jazz or
No,
there are
so-
just songs?
So
or
jazz
that-
standards mainly. So it's,
Okay.
and those are a language that everybody knows. Those are songs that everybody knows. You can, again, just on the topic, they've been around so long that you're free to use them. For gigs and recordings and those types of things. So that was cool. That was studying and playing, and then also started to work with other people and do sessions and record.
But why jazz? I mean, for me, jazz is a bit jazzy thing.
So I studied classical in school.
Is it because of the classical background that you have?
I think it's just because of the classical. And then when I was in my teens, I think there were some people that were listening to jazz, and I got a few records and started listening to it, and I loved the sort of, it's hard to explain. How do you sort of explain it as the sort of, it's a journey. You never know where it's going. Even though it's got a form and it's, that it's that dialogue, it's that conversation between the musicians, it's that trust that you have on stage. It's not all about one person, because if you don't, and it's on everything, but mainly in jazz, it's, if you don't have that dialogue, if you don't have that trust, it's going to fall flat. It's not like you're just reading a page of music and from start to finish, and it's there's more in there. And I think that has actually set. I use it a lot in sort of when someone says to me about like, what did you learn from jazz? And it's like learning to listen, learning to work in a team or work together, and learning to have a dialogue and not, being out in front.
I did experience that 2 years ago on the jazz car. We don't name other people here, so one of our friends took us there, the one who writes reviews as well.
Yeah.
And it was Maria Faust, if you know that name. She's a saxophonist. And she was with a band. I don't remember the name of the band, and it was 3 of them. I think, so she is a saxophone, and I think there's a guitar and the drum. And I didn't even know what I'm going for. I didn't really know. Well, I didn't really listen to jazz that much before, but mainly because I just didn't know. And then this opportunity came, and I went with him and another guy, and I didn't know what to expect. And for an hour, I was just like, after 5 minutes, I was like smiling ear to ear, because these things that you just said, it was, you could totally see that there might have been some I don't know, points of like, we kind of going this direction or something, but I could see that this music was born in front of my eyes. It from dialogue, from conversation, and there was intimacy. That was like, you listened, you had to pay attention to the other, sometimes give room, sometimes take over, and then it's like, sometimes it's chaotic because everyone just wants to do something, and then sometimes it calms down, and it's like a living organism.
It's got breath to it. It's really got breath to it.
It was really, 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 it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, living up here as well is having We Like Jazz Car, because they bring some amazing artists, and it's fantastic to, like, there's a lot of people coming through now.
Are you going to go in Tartu? There's going to be Jason Collier or whatever?
Jacob Collier. I haven't got tickets yet for that one, but he's just a wunderkind. I mean, he's amazing. But I've got the tickets for this year's Jazz Car, and then there's some.
You already have the tickets. Are they on?
Yeah.
When is the
Jazz Car? Is April.
And when is Tallinn Music Week?
Tallinn Music Week. Isn't that generally March?
Okay.
But
okay.
Well, anyway, good people coming to Jazz Car. I mean, there's Snarky Puppy, which is like a 25. Well, they've got rotating members. They're like a big funk jazz fusion band, and they've got like 25 rotating members that they use whoever's available. So they're coming, and then there's we've got tickets to this Dutch pianist who's just Joep Beving, minimalist. Not I wouldn't say jazz. It's more on the classical. It's more on the classical side, but that's awesome. And then actually also not part of Jazz Car, but Dominic Miller, the guitarist, is coming. He's been with Sting for 35 years. He's his like right hand man, and
Sting is also coming. Are you going?
Yeah, and not this time. No, okay. No, he's coming, and then so it's really nice to.
So you're looking forward to this. So there's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I think that's as you get older and you don't need things in your life. I think we kind of realize this. You don't really need things, and music is it's something to look forward to. And also having a child as well, and then you want to expose them to everything, and then they're at that sort of age where they a bit spongy. They kind of they absorb, and I think that's how. Not that I'm forcing it, but she's interested in.
But there's no dinner.
So you kind of you want to take them to these these things to expose them. But it's like you look forward to it, and then it's, as you said, it's that experience you kind of build to it. And if it's an artist you haven't, if it's an artist that you haven't listened to much of, then you spend time checking out all of their work and all of their albums, and you get kind of into it. Then you go to the gig, and it's this amazing experience, because you get the crowds here that are listening crowds. You don't have people on their phones talking. You actually you're sitting in a quiet room. It's quite amazing. It's one of the perks of living here. And then also just how close it is if you want to go, and if there's something in a neighboring country,
and there's flights there.
There's flights and ferries. I mean, last year I took my favorite jazz drummer came to. He was in Helsinki for the evening. I just popped over on the ferry, and it was great. Just sat on the ferry for 2 hours, watched the gig, sat on the ferry. It was like. It was
dream all the way through the trip there.
It was perfect. It's like, and it was perfect. It all worked out, and it was just to go and see him play again was just like so easy. I think coming from South Africa, we sort of if we wanted to do that kind of, I kind of used to do a New York pilgrimage once every few years and go to the jazz clubs there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and go check out stuff, or London and those types of. And then we'd have the jazz festival. But they kind of got more of the mainstream artists. You wouldn't find these, the deeper artists coming, or being able to have access to them. So it keeps you inspired. I find it. You don't have to see much of it in the year. You don't have to see something every week, but once because it lasts. It lasts you so much. In you like so much with the inspiration that. It just gets you excited again. I think that's those types of things. If you asked what made me smile, it's kind of like that as well. Would be you're just getting excited to see great artists perform is always like it's always.
But all these artists that you named, they are something that you used to listen to. These are not new.
No, they're well-known people that I've listened to for years.
While we were talking, I was thinking about that I find myself in the same situation that I don't listen to the new thing that often. Probably would listen to the new thing that will come from the artist that I already know. That's
Boris must be very happy that he found another weirdo who is incapable of finding new music.
Take offense to the name weirdo.
But the thing is that kind of in our childhood we're building up that playlist or that bunch of artists that we're going to listen in our elderly years. Well, at least it feels like it.
I still listen to like the things that I listened when I was a youth, and I sometimes just like I don't believe like a Chemical Brothers album, Dig Your Own Hole is the title, and that's the second album, and to me this is just as modern as it was released today, and it's like 25 to 30 years old.
Timeless,
like how that, but yeah, I mean, as we discussed in that other episode, like I let in like a lot of new stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
But it's more difficult to absorb and to understand.
No, to me, it's not.
Well, depending on the type of music. If it's something that you are used to listen to, probably then yes. But for instance, for me to listen and to absorb some modern culture music is a bit tricky. Although, I mean, we see that Elton John is doing a lot of duets now, and I would say that some of them I do not get. because he's so much into the modal stuff. But at the same time, when he did a duet with Ozzy, that was amazing. And I think that this sort of collaboration of old farts, they should be more and more.
Well, the one old, I don't want to call him old fart, but like the one album of last year was the new Peter Gabriel.
I know you were listening to
So
that.
IO is, it's just wonderful to see, an artist in his 70s who is so relevant and just so much care has gone in. So he did this. He released a song every month on the new moon, on the full moon.
Oh, so that's
every
how
time
he actually released the album?
Yeah, so he released a song, 12 songs on every full moon. So it was really cool, and every single obviously had a meaning with the moon, and then every single had a different piece of artwork attached, and he would speak about the artist. And we hadn't experienced that kind of level of care and artistry for so long, almost so that I wanted to actually just go buy a physical copy of it, which we don't do anymore. Everything is so quick, and the songs the song, we used to like 3-minute tracks. Now these were 6-minute tracks with bridges and long intros and many verses, and he just and he's showing the younger people what it's there's a guy that's been around for
And what?
40 forever. So I really love that the older artists are using what because they just know the art form, they know they have the craft. They're not they're not doing what most of the modern people are doing by using a lot of samples and cutting and pasting, and they're doing old school like performance. So it's really nice to see that, and here it was a concept album that it took me back to that, made us feel a bit nostalgic to like the 90s, when we were kind of like when you were starting with the active listening, and you started to realize
I remember his Sledgehammer.
Whoa.
That was really something. I didn't like it at first. I mean, because it was so different from the mainstream, from everything.
Yeah.
And the way his voice is actually, he has a very raspy, high voice. I didn't like it, but now, in
the later years,
40 plus years, I would say that was pretty genius.
Yeah, it's so iconic.
Yeah.
Now that,
I wanted to ask a question earlier when we were talking about inspiration and all those things, and obviously no one will hear this. Have you ever composed on drugs?
No.
Okay, well, I thought it's maybe a longer topic.
Never.
My parents are still waiting for me to rebel.
I see.
It has been
If you're listening, no. So I think the worst thing I did was I bought too many CDs. Back in the day when I was a teenager.
Oh, I see. As far as rebelling.
As rebelling, and I like to. I think I don't
even know if I rebelled.
No.
Let's do some drugs. I can't. I spend all my money on the CD.
I can't afford it.
Use them.
Yeah.
Okay. So Boris, what
I would say let's do a bit of the probation. This is we never did it before, so there are questions, and we don't know what these questions are because you've seen we just randomly
Your random question generator.
Absolutely, it can be just a list of the numbers.
Recite pi.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to start, and we'll see how it will go.
Okay.
So the first question, we'll have 4 questions.
They're all
2
for
from that I've picked up randomly from the bag, and 2 from
Magic
Thomas.
drum.
Yeah. Well, so the question is, what is your favorite place in the world?
Toilet, I can tell it.
And the mystery is gone.
Can it be 2 places?
Well, start with one, and
Start with
then
one.
and then we'll
So
see where it goes.
So I really love forests. I love trees. So that's why I live in the trees.
You're an
it-
elf?
Forests.
He's an elf.
Oh,
Are
an
you
elf. I'm an elf. Yes.
A forest elf.
Yes, a forest elf.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something about trees that are just. It's calming, and there's a power to them, and that's why.
I've heard from one person that
not too rapid.
no. This is just a question, but I've heard from one person that the place where he is actually get all the recreation of his power is in the forest. When he's actually isolating himself in the woods for 3-4 days, just picking up the spot, installing or erupting the tent. There he is for 3-4 days in solitude, and he said that it actually clears all the problems from his head, like almost instantly.
To me, that's underwater. It's the same effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weirdly as well, like on that certain, I know it's rapid, but like weirdly as well is that I also like cities, which is strange.
Oh, I love cities.
It's
cities.
like depending on the way I'm feeling. That's why I like New York or whatever. There's something about like being in that. There's that smell on the street. There's that energy. There's that flow. It's got the same energy, the same power as say a forest, but it's just completely different. So that's I like
What
that.
squirrels? So people and squirrels.
Actually,
rats.
no,
Rats. Same.
Same.
Okay, I think
Okay.
I have the next one.
Go ahead.
So let's see. What have we got? Oh, if you could be any animal, what kind would you be?
A llama,
Oh,
Dalai Lama.
just a llama, or alpaca. That's the same animal.
you-
They're
You
just
have
big.
the question.
Oh, actually, or a capybara. Or a
That is really fast answer. So you have been thinking about. Haven't
It's a llama or a capybara. I'm not sure. That's
So
a-
I
nothing
saw
to
a
do with
capybara sushi. A capybara, not sushi, but it was food. It was like someone shaved the capybara out
Do they
of
eat them?
I would eat a capybara out of rice, and then they made little eyes with some bean roots or whatever, and then they covered it with a little like a tofu sheet.
Yes,
and
I've seen that. Yeah. It's
it was
beautiful.
yeah.
My brother lives in Asia, and it's basically like that. It's like they bring you a rice sort of made into like a little teddy bear with a little blanket of egg on it.
Yeah,
And
it was like,
I saw one today. It was a Japanese airport, and on the travelators you get your bags.
Oh, that's what you said.
With the sushi. I sent you
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a big plate of like sushi that goes around with the bags as well, because
Was it? I thought it's like a sushi.
It was
It's a bag fashioned in a sushi look, but it was actually.
it was the bag claim, but they got a big plate of sushi
But
on it.
yes, but I thought it's a bag that made to look like
Oh
a sushi.
no!
It was actually.
It was actually like a whatever it was. It wasn't real, but it was really funny that on the conveyor belt. So yeah, llama or capybara.
Okay, that's nice.
Well, there's actually that. I don't know if you've seen that sport primate in China. And I don't know if it's a monkey, but it's called I think it's Ching Ching or something like that. It's wonderful.
What is it? Is it like a
It's a-
simian, or is it a?
It's a very big. It's beautiful. Like he's become quite the Instagram hit. I think he lives with a monk, and basically drinks coconut water every day, and he just
Whoa.
basically eats. He lives the best life.
It's not this little thing. It's
No,
not
no.
this-
He's quite big. He's quite big. He's very, very, very
So
cute.
he's going to die with a smile on his face.
Yeah,
probably.
and everyone just like pets him and photographs him
No,
eating
I mean
his
that's right
t-shirts
of
and
dogs
his-
as well. There is a dog down at hair salon.
Of this beautiful white fur. I don't know what kind of dog, but it's big. Every time I just go somewhere, it's
there,
dead.
I just stop there and like,
It's
the life.
It is the life.
Oh my
I need a dog. I need a dog.
All right, then. Let's take another question, shall we? You ready? It's a tough one. How would you describe your family?
How would I describe my family? Loving, and I miss them terribly because we live 10,000 kilometers apart, so that's tough. But we're very close, almost best friends. And we always have been. We've always been a very close.
So what's your family makeup composition? You got what, siblings? And
Yeah, I've got one brother. He lives in, as I said, he lives in Asia. And my parents live in Cape Town. And yeah, we've always
they visited you, right? Or?
Yeah, they visited me a couple of times. Yeah, that'll be their third visit. They're coming in.
So, but they do some big gatherings once a year.
Yeah, so they come here. They'll be here for the third time in summer, and then
My brother
comes. He was just here on Christmas. He comes a couple times a year, and yeah, then we save all the birthdays and the celebrations, and we kind of have them when we're here and
That's
travel
cool.
around this
That's cool.
together and maybe go to another country. So it's always been very. They're amazingly supportive. They've always supported music, which was
Because you didn't rebel.
Because I didn't rebel, they loved it. But generally parents want you to do something.
Yeah,
else when
but
you're a kid.
that was my next question. Were they supporting you all the way?
All the way.
All the way. So they were not
So there was always
trying to conduct any rules like
No.
you have to become a dentist and that's the end of the.
no.
You have to become a jazz musician.
It's like I don't want to. I want to be a janitor. No.
And my mother's
Just-
favorite question that she would always get from the parents that with the doctors and lawyers, and that's like, so what does your son do, as they all sitting around having coffee on a Tuesday morning or whatever. It's like, oh no, he does music. It's like, oh, what's he going to do with that? When he's studying music,
poor thing.
has he got anything to fall back on? It's like, no.
Any plan B?
Any plan B? Well, you can arrange flowers and throw cushions
And pillows.
Oh, that's so much better. So, they were amazing. They still are. They've always been amazingly supportive since when I started when I was 6. So they've always been there. Every concert, every.
So they were invited to the weddings. They were invited to all the weddings.
All the weddings. Yeah. They enjoyed the buffet and made the speeches and pretended to be.
That is my son.
Congratulations. Okay, I have one question as well. Okay, this is the one that I haven't read yet. Why?
That's the question.
Must I add to it? Must I reciprocate?
No, I still would like to give an answer to this, but I also have no idea. But anyway, why is the sky blue?
The sky wasn't always blue, I think, because they used to call it.
So let me tell you the story.
Didn't they used to call it? Didn't they used to call it the bronze?
I don't know.
Now I need my wife because she knows all of these things. We need to look it up. I don't know why it's blue. I once knew why it was blue, but I think that the Greeks used to call it the bronze, and then because I don't think it was always blue.
I don't know, but I know I read something about it somewhere, but I don't remember. So
You wrote the question. You must know the answer.
no, actually, we
No,
got the
these are
internet
absolutely
from
random
the
questions.
internet.
Should we look it up?
No, absolutely no.
Oh,
Because
okay.
We
technically,
like to be wrong in those things. And
these questions
Can I
that
call
we
a
have
friend?
here, they are addressed to kids. So these are not for the grown-ups. So now, let's imagine you are a kid, 6 years old, and somebody is asking you, so you know nothing about Greeks. Or maybe you know a little
Okay,
bit.
so you wanted. Yeah,
So
okay,
why
yeah.
the sky is blue? You can even
I
make a voice.
made it harder.
Well, I know.
Now you've made it harder because you got now to try and think like a kid is difficult, isn't it?
But at the same time, it has to be really like, you have to go with the flow.
Because it is blue. It's always been blue.
Not bad.
Yeah, see?
There is no answer. It's always been blue.
Okay.
Or it's reflecting from the sea. I don't know.
Night annoys me that I don't remember.
But then green forests,
Yeah.
it's always
it should be them green,
True.
reflecting.
Yeah.
And the ice peaks, they're white.
It's cocaine because of
He never did it, so
CDs.
CDs. Cushions.
Cushions.
Phases.
Phases.
Phases and phases.
I want to try another one.
One more.
One more.
Boris just wants to do it. Do it.
Yes,
Do it.
so-
He's also feeling like a kid now.
He's got the
Now
trump
we're in a kid
He's
mode.
got the trump
We're in
card.
a
He
kid
put that one to the top,
There
didn't
we
he?
go.
Yeah, he did.
There we go.
Yeah.
This is a good one. If you had to live with a cartoon character
Oh,
who would you pick?
I want to answer all these
You-
questions. No, but
okay, let me. You answer. I want you to answer. I want you to
like,
answer.
I just
Would-
want to answer.
I think we
I just
should-
wanted to say I want to.
Woodpecker?
No, actually, you know what I would live as an observer. Maybe not necessarily live with them, because I think I would get very annoyed. But do you know Aqua Teen Hunger Force? It's an Adult Swim.
Oh my God! Yo, wow.
No, it's not that bad. Adult Swim is it's kind of a media, I don't know, outlet. They have like a lot of musicians that I actually like. They come from there, like Run the Jewels, for example. Just one of the. And I think Futurama is also, I think, Adult Swim. Robo Chicken.
No, Futurama.
No, that's not that. Okay, maybe not that. Robo Chicken. That's also Adult
Robo
Swim.
Chicken might be, but not Futurama.
And this Aqua Teen Hunger Force is this is like 7 or 8 minutes episodes, or 10 minutes episodes. There is so who lives together? A meatball. This what do you call those? When you go to McDonald's and they give you the cups with the plastic thing.
Slush?
It's like, no, it's just the cup. It's the cup and the plastic thing, and the straw comes out of it. So one of those lives there, and then there is there is some other entity that is like, it's floating. That thing is very smart. The meatball is he's a bit dumb. He's like a good heart, but he's like a bit dumb. And then the cop, he's an aggressive asshole.
Forgotten what we're talking about.
And anyway, I just would like, and then they have a neighbor. I forgot the name.
So technically, it's a threesome. You already.
There's a foursome because there's a
Foursome.
neighbor, and the neighbor is a human. He's like a redneck American in blue pants and this vest, this white vest, and he's got a Corvette outside, and then sometimes creatures from the moon come, and then they piss on the floor and all those kind of things. And then again, back to Adult Swim, they have the one of my favorite rapper or hip hop or whatever. He died, unfortunately, MF Doom, and he did a collaboration with Danger Mouse, and they have like, I don't know, 10 or 11 tracks, and it's about these. So these guys are in those tracks. And what happened to me, I knew the album before I knew Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and when I connected these dots, that like, hey, actually, this is a music that I really, really love. This is one of my favorite albums, which I forgot the name of, but it's still my favorite. And then there were a lot of samples, coming back to samples, a lot of samples from somewhere. And then I watched this cartoon, and then the samples came back. That's where they were from. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then later I learned Run the Jewels, which is also one of my, the head of Adult Swim introduced Killer Mike to LP, who are the two people. And then, so I just like how these things kind of get together. So I would like to live with, again, they are annoying as fuck, probably to live with, but I would just like to like observe it. And because it was in South Africa, I think Showtime had it. Showtime streaming.
Yeah.
I think they had it,
they
and
had
then
Adult Swim,
when I moved away, then I don't really torrent things, so like I stopped watching it, but I watched it there, and I miss it. It's so funny to me. It's very funny, and it's again 10 minutes. I think the creators are like, it's it's also hip hop and graffiti and whatever in there, so you can see it's like a crew of people who like this hip hop, probably on weed all the time and all that kind of stuff, and it's just laid back nonsense like the past 5 minutes was. And but anyway, that's my answer. But
What's your answer?
My answer. I haven't prepared the answer.
You don't
Well,
have to
that's
prepare
the-
the answer. I'm just delaying because I don't know.
Now, the thing is that it's very difficult to tell because my favorite cartoons from my youth used to be Tom and Jerry.
oh yeah,
It's like, but I will never live in that madhouse. It's like, would you like to have those racing 24/7, like and they're fighting and they're blowing each other like literally those bombs that they're having, and the train, and then just imagine how much money you have to spend to build up that table filled with feast.
oh.
It's like crazy.
But I but the music in that's
it's a pure classic.
brilliant.
It's
And
insane.
and I think I saw like a YouTube video somewhere where they actually analyze. So it's Jerry runs and Tom runs and whatever, and every little move, every jump,
Everything is
pause,
scored.
It's like everything is scored.
You
perfectly.
score like characters. I did not to talk about myself, it's very boring, but I once had the opportunity to write like that. We did I once worked for a children's animation studio, and we were pitching for a series, and we did a 10-minute story, like fully animated, like, and I did it in that style. It's so difficult.
Do you still have it? Where is it? Is it?
It's yeah, I've got it at home. I can show it to you.
But
But it's basically like the music changes all the time. There's no like, let's write for, especially in the action scenes. Obviously,
a loop and that's
yeah. Obviously, there's there's parts where you become a little bit more lyrical and things. But when you copying every action, I don't know. Those are amazing. Those are like the true artists. Those
all the Looney Tunes and those kind of things as well. They're like
everything. Everything is scored.
just I don't score, but.
I did think of one.
Cool.
The one with the best. Well, you might say you don't agree, but I would say that
Definitely, that's
I don't agree. let's just.
I would say Gummy Bears.
Gummy Bears.
Oh,
Gummy Bears, best theme song. It's kind of like the
I actually don't remember the theme song.
Yeah,
actually,
Gummy
but I remember
Bears.
the defining-
It was at the same time when those Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, it was Rescue Rangers and Tailspin and Darkwing Duck. All of those came out. That sort of very very iconic.
What was the name of this movie about those three ducks and the Scrooge McDuck?
Not Darkwing Duck. It was
Darkwing Duck.
DuckTales.
DuckTales. Yeah.
It was the beginning of the 90s, and it was
Yeah, no, I
like-
know. We
it
had
was-
we had
it was-
that.
it
We
was,
had it.
Because beginning of the 90s when we used to have again coming out of communism, coming out of and then some Western thing comes through, and we had a section on Sundays. It was Walt Disney channel with Walt Disney or
Yes.
something like that. And
Yeah.
there were
Same
like
here.
there were three for an hour. There were 20 minutes something. It was DuckTales. It was sometimes Gummy Bears. It was the Baloo, whatever, the big bear with the with the airplane.
Yeah. That was Tailspin.
Was it?
Tailspin.
Maybe I just it was in
It
Hungarian.
was Baloo with the
Baloo,
with the plane. Yeah.
And there's an interesting iconic thing, and I think we did talk
We
about
spoke
this.
about it. Yeah.
What's it called? So what happened is there are these phenomenons that sometimes something happens, and it's the entire nation is somehow it's kind of it's burnt into your mind because it's a significant event. We might remember I think it's Duck.
Was it
DuckTales,
DuckTales? No, it wasn't DuckTales. It was something else. It was.
But what happened basically is back in the day there were two TV channels, whatever, and then the first democratically elected prime minister died on a Sunday afternoon, and this is a memory of a generation when I was like 10 or whatever that he died, and that was DuckTales or some of the Walt Disney thing, and everything went off, and it was the hymn. The anthem comes in, and then they announce that he died, and that it's everybody. It has a Wikipedia entry that like this is a memory that a generation shares. That during the Walt Disney thing, the prime minister died. They stopped all the broadcasting, and it was the prime minister. They announced it. So it was it's interesting. I can say that I was actually part of it. Anyone who you talk to in Hungary who was at that age, they would that would be something that very likely it is common. It is shared as a memory with you. It's
Thank you.
Thank you for having
we
me.
didn't smile. What made us smile?
Oh,
We will talk about it next time.
Actually, this whole
I want to know
the
what
episode
made you smile this week.
Okay, it's short. I mean, my answer. So I my little niece, whom I love both of them.